But we begin tonight with the fight over firearms. Governor Martin O'Malley talked about his gun control package today. In many ways, it's more expansive than President Obama's federal proposal. As ABC2 News' Christian Schaefer tells us tonight, critics say the plan not only isn't fair, they also don't believe it'll do anything to cut down on gun violence.
That's right, Rosie. The governor's plan would go beyond background checks to require a license for anyone in Maryland to buy a firearm. That's just one of the proposals that drew harsh criticism from Republicans. The governor says efforts to cut down on gun violence have been going on since before the tragic shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, but he says some of the proposals are aimed at making similar attacks less likely to happen in Maryland.
The risk will never go away, but it is possible that we can prevent another tragedy like this from happening.
The governor is calling for a reduction in the size of magazines for semi-automatic weapons. Right now, magazines sold in Maryland can hold 20 bullets. The governor wants to cut that down to 10. And he is calling for fingerprints, background checks, and other licensing procedures for anyone who buys a gun in the state.
If you have to get a license to drive a car on the streets or a motorcycle on the streets, I think most Marylanders, Democrats, Republicans, and independents agree that you should have to be licensed in order to operate a firearm.
Republican E.J. Pipkin told ABC2 News that proposal reminds him of the repressive poll taxes that used to be used to keep poor and often African-American people from voting.
The only people that are going to be able to afford guns in the state of Maryland are going to be rich people who have the money and time to comply with this.
Delegate Pat McDonough says he'll introduce his own legislation that would eliminate parole and probation for anyone convicted of gun crimes and increase the use of the death penalty, which the governor is attempting to eliminate during this session.
Politicians ought to stop grandstanding and misleading people with simplistic solutions that don't work and go after the criminals and go after the monsters that do these things.
The governor's package of bills are also aimed at improving mental health services and improving security at the entrances to schools in Maryland. Delegate McDonough plans to talk more about his proposals at an event tomorrow, an event for what gun dealers are calling Gun Appreciation Day. Live in the newsroom, Christian Schaefer, ABC2 News.